This is Keelan Sutherland, FTH 212 striker fired, week 4 assignment. It's going to be a multi-part series. This is the starting of the texturing and stippling of the kydex and some of the pistol frame. I've got some areas roughed out for the borders, and I'm going to be working on getting those things a little bit more detail. More to follow. All right, we're continuing the stippling. I had some patterns here, and this one, I like that for the old style front strap checkering or striations. This one turned out okay, not great. I'm still toying with the pressure, and that is this head right here that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I did sand the frame, cut my borders, and took out the notch. There's still some more sanding and whatnot that needs to be done, but there's areas where I'm going to be working to get ready to stipple. I want to kind of keep the same lines with the exception of right here and right here. I want to make those more of a gentle pin stipple. I have not decided yet, but nothing too aggressive there. And I'd also like to do under the trigger guard with a light stippling pattern. More to be continued as the project moves forward. This is the frame that I stippled. Still the same one I received. I didn't get up here into the beaver tail because I don't want to get hand rash. There's still a little bit more sanding on some of the stuff that I'll pick off later. And there's one spot that I'm going to touch up. But all in all, everything, I've got to clean that up with a little bit of a razor blade. You got to be careful on those spots, but those are the areas that I feel are necessary for shooting and the keeping a grip on your pistol. I'm going to clean this up some more, and it turned out better than I expected. And I used, hold on, that's a serrated. It's the first tip I showed in the earlier part of the video, but I'm happy with how it came out. There might be a few more areas I'll just need to touch up a little bit. Still got some border here that I want to take down. I still preserved this for the magazine, and I will check the assignment for some more stuff and see how much more I have to go. Thank you. Bye. This is Keelan Sutherland, FTH 212 striker fired. This is week 4, the texturing module on the kydex and the PSA Dagger frame. So I started out with an oval, and it's kind of hard to do kydex when it's really smooth, and so I just rough it up some. But here's the first one, and I had to circle with this one here. I still got to clean these up. The next one here with more of a leaf pattern was with this guy. I didn't like it as much. It tended to smear a lot, and so what I did was, the border is still intact. You can see it right there. I went around it with this serrated one, and I kind of like that pattern a lot. And then I tried this one here. This one was just drawn lines with one of the tips like this. And I did not do great on the kydex. The frame went a little bit better actually, but I didn't go with this. I did go with this up here, and I alternated it for better grip and a little bit better for the area I find myself in where it's sweaty and wet. I didn't do this. I did this, but I did not like it as much as I thought I would. And so for the finished product, we've got this here, and I have another video showing some of the others prior to this. This kind of looks like hammered dog crap, but it's not. I just had to sand it down some. It looked more like this, but I had to knock it down because it was really aggressive. So that is the first part of it. Part 2. The planned pattern laid out on the pistol frame. I'll have another video for that prior to this. The borders were cut into it, and you're seeing the finished pattern now. For part 3 of the part 3 is articulate the process you used to complete the parts 1 and 2, and then discuss any difficulties you may have had in completing the project. Well, with the actual pistol, I had, there were areas where I thought the border wasn't deep enough, or it was not, like here. I got spots where I stopped because it's the first time I've used a Dremel tool to cut things like this. So on this, you knew, or you had a pretty good idea what was too long. On the Kydex, you did not know. It was just really, and also real quick, the Kydex does bow when you get it hot, just like when you make it for holsters. However, when I had the magazine in the pistol frame, there was no bowing or distortion. So that was a good tip. So Kydex, it's really slick, and the tips tend to glide on it really fast, but it burns deep if you're not careful. So as far as the first part, pretty, it was harder than doing the frame. The frame, I had to go all around the borders first, and one of the things you got to be careful of when you're doing this texturing is lingering too long and staying in one area for too long. So if you start here, do a couple spots, and then go down here, and then switch around, and that generally helps. And if you keep rotating, like when I did the border, I did the whole thing at the same time, and I went around to give the other side time to harden and cool off. Let's see, was there anything that, let's see here, any difficulties in completing the project? Not really. I sanded it, I did the borders, I sanded it, tried some layouts on it real quick, and found out I like this texture for my sweaty man hands and the summer that's coming. And then I did up here for your index finger or thumb with a modern isosceles. And then I did under here. I didn't double undercut down here because the first undercut right here behind the trigger guard does pretty well as it is. And I didn't touch any of the rest of the frame besides a little light sanding up here on the top where it's going to mate with the slide, and then right in here on both sides for the takedown lever. What could be done to make things go more smoothly in the future? Honestly, exposure to this. Oh, I did take off the finger groove right there before I started texturing. I didn't like it. It just wasn't in the right spot. One of the big things that helps out with this is who's doing it or who you're making it for, having them come by to actually feel the difference. A different soldering iron might help, one where you can control the temperature a little bit better. And the Dremel tool with the flexible head, it had a lot of walking problems when I was doing the borders. It was just the bits would walk out even though you tightened them down. So that would be what I think on what would make this job go smoothly in the future. Also, an extra frame, like one of the little SIG 320 frames that are like 30 or 40 bucks to practice on, so that we can use these. But if I decide that I want to do this for anyone else, I'm going to ask them to come up with a frame, a sacrificial, or not a sacrificial frame, but a frame that they can try out first, because some of these are cheap and expensive frames, honest to goodness. So if you mess one up, it's nice to have one on hand. But tools, light, heat source, all those things will make this job go a little bit easier. I'll combine this with the other ones where it shows the layout of the pistol, and I'll post this online for you.